direct sequel to one of the greatest beat 'em ups of all time, Guardian Heroes for the Sega Saturn. Now, I don't want to talk about Guardian Heroes for the Saturn. I'm a huge fan of that game. If you haven't played it before, I would seriously suggest that you pick it up. I have a feeling you'll like it. I want to talk about a game which everyone seems to have forgot. Released in Europe and the States in the year 2005. Developed by one of my favourite developers, Treasure. It's Guardian Heroes Advance, exclusively for the Nintendo Game Boy Advance. Guardian Heroes Advance is a beat 'em up game where you go around punching bad guys in the balls. The game has RPG elements where after every stage you complete you receive stat points. It's up to you, the player, where to allocate these stat points. You could choose from increasing your magical defense to increasing damage done upon foes. The story in layman's terms follows directly after the original Guardian Heroes game. Basically the main characters die. Then there's this guy who looks like he's doing some body popping, basically uses their soul to resurrect them from death. He's doing this so he could create the ultimate warriors to take over the world. Luckily the undead hero from the original game, this guy, comes to the rescue. But he could only enter the world by using this young chap's body as a vessel. To be honest, the story is somewhat perplexing and overly ambitious, and our game begins. This is odd, but have you ever played a video game when every time you died, the end game boss would tempt you to sacrifice your soul? Well, this is it. If you accept to sacrifice your soul, you get infinite health and eventually die anyways. Most probably this feature was put into Guardian Heroes Advance as the game can be quite difficult, but often difficult for the wrong reasons, and I'll get into that in a bit. The game introduces a parrying system. When pressing the R button, you could counter-attack your enemy's attack, in return stunning them, similar to that of Bayonetta's Witch Time, but in 2D, lovely jubbly. Aesthetically speaking, the main character looks a lot like the guy from Gunstar Heroes. Makes sense as both games are from Treasure. The characters from the original Guardian Hero games make appearances throughout the game multiple times. Sadly, being a bit of a cocktease, we can't play as them. The soundtracks used in the game is basically a rendition of some of the tracks from the Saturn game. It actually doesn't sound bad on the Game Boy Advance, just have a listen. The game has an autosave feature, letting you continue from where you left off from. This is always a welcoming feature, especially if you love to play on the go, like myself. This is why I personally love the GBA. Portable gaming at its finest. I go by the motto, to only review games I have completed. Sadly, some games take longer than others to complete. This game took me a month or two to beat. Not that the game is long. To be honest, it just felt like a daunting task to get around and playing this. But why, I hear you say? Well, the core element of the game, the combat, is pretty much broken due to the frame rate dropping frequently. Brawlers like fighters should be on point with smooth frame rates. Sadly, this is a highly unpolished game. Further, there are several things attacking you at the same time. You are often getting bombarded with enemies from all different directions. It's a bit overwhelming, as you can't do anything about getting raped from all directions. Guardian Heroes Advance is more like a button bash and beat 'em up, where you're hoping to get lucky to dodge some attacks at the same time of hoping to do some damage. You simply tap R to parry every so often. What got to me is that some of the enemies do so much damage that literally one or two of the attacks can literally kill you in one go. The game has some unbalancing issues with the bosses. Guardian Heroes Advance has multiple endings. It's a nice touch, but honestly in a handheld brawler, I would rather have tight gameplay over a deep story. Talking of story, it's silly. In order to get the good ending, you must parry the final boss's final attack. This felt like a really cheap gimmick just to go through the shenanigan of replaying the final stage again. And I did. I don't blame the game for disappointing me. I blame myself from expecting quality from this game. Despite the treasure name being slapped on the cartridge, don't expect anything great going into this. Expectation can be a slap in the face. Anyways guys, as always, it's been a pleasure, and I want to thank you for watching and supporting my channel here. Peace.